my first Havana syndrome experience was in this house at 23 Cosgrove Road in Willington, Connecticut. That was 1988. I was about 10 years old. To describe what that feeling was like, I will allow this career U.S. government employee to speak on my behalf.
Where Garfield says it happened again.
And we woke up around, I believe, 2 a.m. With strange vibrations in our bodies and a sound.
Which led Garfield to check on his children in another room.
I saw an extremely eerie scene where both were thrashing in their beds, asleep, but both kicking and moving pretty aggressively. And I went over to my daughter and I put my head down next to her head, and I heard a very distinct sound just right there, sort of like water rushing. So I picked her up, took her in, put her with my wife, and came back, and I checked my son. Same sound, just right next to his head. So I picked him up, put him on my shoulder, walked over to my wife, and I said, "We're getting out of here."
Garfield reported this to the FBI.
That's exactly what it felt like. Now, I don't know if I was thrashing in my bed. No one saw it that I'm aware of. I just woke up from the uncomfortable feeling. Had that the hissing noise, the water rushing noise, obviously. Felt very strange and kind of numbness in my extremities. Just felt weird. The rumbling continued, maybe 10 minutes, then it stopped. That happened 2 or 3 times that week, and that was it. After that, I didn't think about it again. You know, you deliberately don't think about it. I didn't know, maybe that happens to people sometimes. And, 10, I didn't know any better. And that was it. I lived a normal life after that. I didn't experience it again until 2017. That's 29 years or so later. One thing that is noteworthy, though, is that in between, I was very healthy, it seemed, lived a normal life, school, a little associate's degree, job that was, good for my level of education, and I was very happy, very healthy, active, going to the gym, good personal relationships. I mean, you couldn't really have asked for anything more. I'm very lucky. It wasn't, just everything just went well, pretty much. But I was always very warm. And, of course, you would never think that there's some external cause for that. You just think, well, I'm the sweaty guy, I'm the hot guy. I was always warm. And after the symptoms got worse again, 29 years later or so, and then I was eventually found the anti-tinnitus V2K binaural beats treatment from Case Electronics, who's another man who has Havana syndrome and is a very, very bright, gifted electrical engineer, and I'm probably misspeaking on both of those, but either way, as soon as I started using that stopped. And it was very odd because, clearly based on bioeffects of selected non-lethal weapons, this is 1996, the Army knew and the Pentagon knew exactly how to heat a human. I love this. The rough estimate of the power required to heat a human. The wording is just disturbing. But they have the exact frequency, 225 megahertz, 10 watts per kilograms of body weight. X amount of time will do it. Don't do it for this long. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, they knew exactly how to do it using a radar system. And of course, the Army was very, very clear on page 8 that existing radar systems can be used, adapted from existing radar units. Those could be satellite-based as well, and as I've said, there are 1,000 plus radar-equipped Chinese and Russian satellites over the United States. The Pentagon has not come forward with this information, and it's publicly available. I mean, this is on Wired.com. No one's reported on it other than Wired. They've done a great job, but that is very noteworthy. That was the only thing I experienced. And then, of course, in 2017, I awoke one more time. It started again in the spring, and I woke up with the rumbling in the chest. And the rest, as they say, is history. You've seen some of my other videos. I realized that most likely there were several health events that happened 2 in 2016, 2 or 3 in 2016, I think. In 2014, I had a extreme a stretch of time with extreme fatigue. I mean, I couldn't even function. It was unbearable. And with no cause found, they sent me for a sleep study. They had no idea. It lasted for months, and then eventually just went away. There were a couple events in 2007 as well, very similar, where I actually ended up in the hospital and basically I thought I was dying. I mean, I felt awful, and they could never explain what had happened to me. They could see, on the monitors there was some weird stuff going on in my body, but like they couldn't find a cause, and then it just went away, and that was it. These sudden onset health complications. So, we've known about this, and now it's being covered in the mainstream media. And now, why am I coming forward? Well, I'll allow another government employee to speak as my representative again.
Why did you sit down to speak with us at all?
I really want our story to be told. I want America to know what happened to their diplomats serving overseas. And I want people who were injured in these events to come forward if they haven't come forward before, because treatment does help with the symptoms, and it's not something that you should have to live with and suffer through alone. So it's important for everyone to hear this.
Yeah, well said. And if she had that experience being a government employee, imagine what it's like for everybody else. So I like this guy here. He's one of the victims. Let's see what he has to say.
For the first time, to put an end to doubt. You have not wanted to do this interview.
No. This is probably one of my worst nightmares.
Why is that?
I didn't do my job because I want to be known. I did my job because I love my country and I was good at it. God, and I miss my job. I'm here because I'm tired of the gaslighting that keeps happening from the US government. I'm tired of this yo-yoing because I'm watching new colleagues and friends that I've trained with and friends that I've known for years that are being sent to these countries and coming back a shell of their former selves. We need to help them, and we need to stop this.
But who is it that must be stopped?
It's not funny. I'm sorry. Before you can figure out who it is, you have to accept what the sources are, and of course the sources are radar systems, which means that it certainly could be domestic. You can't keep your eye on every U.S. government employee all the time. We are in the nation of Tuskegee. That went on for decades. You don't know what every single person is doing, and there are plenty of sickos out there. Given that it's radar, it could also be the 1,000 plus Chinese and Russian radar-equipped satellites that orbit over the top of the United States every single day. There are lots of culprits, but until people stop saying, well, we don't really know the source, or how could this work, or what would it look like, the answers are all right here. All right here. Until they stop saying things like that, you can't start to determine who it is until you accept what it is, and what it is has been known for 25 years or more. So that's where we're at. And I understand this is not going to be, people aren't going to watch this video, and my experience is just like theirs. What the point of this video is it may educate a few people, some newcomers, but more importantly, what it is it's all the stories add up, and it eventually, hopefully, it becomes impossible to ignore when you have this many people coming forward and saying something like this. It doesn't benefit me in any way. Just like that guy said, it's my worst nightmare. I don't want to be known for this. I don't want to tell this story. This sucks. But that's what happened to me, and I've been dealing with it off and on ever since. So it's a bummer. I don't want to do this. I have nothing to gain by saying this, and I think that for a civilian, I'm about as credible as one can be. Again, very healthy. Even at my age. I really don't know what else to say. I mean, hard worker. I own that house. I had that rental there. I'm a busy guy. I'm always as active as can be, as long as I'm not too tired from all of this, and that's it. And there are lots of people out there that are having the same experience as me, and hopefully, eventually, this is a little more widely accepted and addressed. because you're not going to hear it here first. It won't be the first time or the last time you're going to hear this, but this has been used on every single American without their knowledge. I guarantee it. I've said it in other videos. The worst headache you ever had was caused by this. The spike in anxiety and depression, the serious change in human behavior in the last 25 years, the fact that people are fat, sick, and nearly dead, on pharmaceuticals, on drugs, drug overdoses, suicides, all of it is caused by this. And that will one day be accepted. And that's a difficult thing to accept, so I understand why it's taken so long, because uncomfortable truths are just not fun. Thanks for watching.